Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve you. I feel highly unqualified to speak about sadhana for leaders to so many of Srila Prabhupada's leaders within our society. So I haven't come as your teacher. I've just come as a little servant to share some of the things that we all have received from Srila Prabhupada's teachings over the years. This little collection of quotes from Srila Prabhupada has been distributed to all of you. Truly, this is only a drop from a large ocean of Srila Prabhupada's words on the utmost importance of sadhana for all devotees, and especially for leaders. Srila Prabhupada writes here on May 2nd, 1972, simply become more concerned with increasing the spiritual content of our lives, and in this way all other problems like management will be easily solved. Not that they can be solved by making some legal formula and having big meetings and talks. April 14th, 1973, Srila Prabhupada he spoke this in a Srimad Bhagavatam lecture. Without hearing and chanting, to become a leader, it is impossible. You can become leader in the material world, but not in the spiritual world. And a letter, 6th September 1974. So far as being leader is concerned, leader means spiritually, not materially. This you should understand very clearly. If spiritual potency and strength is there, then material intelligence will automatically follow. We must have a solid foundation of chanting and following the regulative principles. Then one is fit to lead others. I hope you understand this point. We quoted this morning to Hridayananda Goswami, 1972. So as president, now you will be forced to advance in Krishna consciousness, because you must always set the highest example yourself. And I think that this is Krishna's special favoring you. Try to always see the highest purity is maintained in all respects. Become yourself very convinced of this Krishna philosophy. Be always preaching and trying to understand some basic points from different angles of vision. Keep the devotees in your temple always satisfied and jolly, and that will be your success. Srila Prabhupada is putting such emphasis on this foundational principle. There's a very famous interaction between Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, who's coming today. During Prabhupada's last days, he asked Giriraj Maharaj, how will this movement go on? And he said, by chanting Hare Krishna, sadhana, something like that. And Prabhupada said, by organization. Now, how does that fit in this? It fits perfectly. Srila Prabhupada emphasized that, but it must be in the context of how much its sadhana bhakti is being emphasized. And Srila Prabhupada explains it right here. It was understood to Giriraj Maharaj, obviously after all these years of being devotee, how the basic foundation of everything we do spiritually is on our sadhana, our taking shelter of hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. But then it takes intelligence and organization and sincere unity to actually build on that foundation. And this is, I think, the basis of education in Krishna consciousness. And it's the basis of this college. How to inspire a very, very strong spiritual foundation through hearing and chanting and following the 9 processes of devotional service. And then how to truly educate people how to organize and build upon that foundation. A society where Srila Prabhupada writes in this letter to Hridayananda Goswami, where all the devotees are satisfied and jolly. I remember in my early years, I heard Srila Prabhupada say, it was in India, he said a devotee could be happy either living under a tree or living in a palace. Because a devotee's happiness simply is in chanting Hare Krishna, associating with devotees, and taking a little prasad. Hearing and chanting. And that's where our satisfaction, that's where our fulfillment is. And all the organizational plans and all the projects we develop should be coming from that inner fulfillment. Srila Prabhupada quotes Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he tells that Sravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, is the nourishment, the foodstuffs that gives strength to a devotee. Just like we have our Srinathji Prabhu and Keshav Prabhu, they run huge international corporations. But in order for them to do their work, they put time to eat every day, some food. So in whatever services we perform, our spiritual strength is going to come by our sadhana, by regularly hearing and chanting. And in some of these letters that are here in this collection that was passed out, we'll find Srila Prabhupada especially talking to leaders and expressing his great concern that we have GBCs and presidents who are falling down because they're not sincerely following the regulative principles of hearing and chanting. So the trap of Maya is sometimes as we make progress in our ability to speak, our ability to influence others, ability to accomplish projects, as we expand our influence of people looking up to us, we think that we don't have as much necessity to really perform our sadhana, our hearing and chanting, as we did when we were new devotees. But what Srila Prabhupada's warning us again and again is the more we become leaders, the more we have responsibility, the more the necessity there is to perform our sadhana well. We never outgrow grow it. That famous exchange where someone asked Srila Prabhupada, what do you hope to get by chanting Hare Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada said, the goal of chanting Hare Krishna is to chant Hare Krishna. Now we are chanting to purify our hearts, but when our hearts become pure, then we chant out of love. Actual advancement is Kirtaniya Sada Hari, where we really have a taste to always chant Hare Krishna. If we think we're becoming advanced because we're accomplishing many things, but we don't have the taste for chanting the holy names, and we don't really feel the need or the time, something is imbalanced. Because if we're actually making spiritual progress, our enthusiasm to chant will be more than ever. So complacency is one of the great challenges as we make progress in Krishna consciousness. New devotees are oftentimes very afraid to make offenses to other Vaishnavas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that offenses to Vaishnavas is mad elephant offense. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has spoken, just do two things. Chant Hare Krishna always and don't criticize others. And Lord Chaitanya said, I will take you back to Godhead. So he's really emphasizing the importance of the offenses to the holy name, to avoid them. So when we're new devotees and we hear this, most of us were very afraid of offending devotees. But the tendency and the trap of Maya, as we start getting more knowledgeable, more expert at performing various types of devotional activities, we become complacent. We become kind of familiar with the process of bhakti. And then we think that now I'm an advanced devotee. I could say anything I want. There's no problem offending anybody. And sometimes we do it, and we're still doing well. Sometimes we stop, we're not chanting very well, and still I'm being empowered. But that won't last. Krishna warns us, it's just a matter of time till we begin to lose our taste and lose our intelligence of how to actually have the spirit, the character of a devotee. So in this sense, it's very important that as leaders in our sangam together, we really have to keep reminding each other that these basic principles of chanting our 16 rounds attentively and learning to take shelter of the holy name and reading Srila Prabhupada's books and discussing Srila Prabhupada's books. In one letter here, Srila Prabhupada's explaining the foundational principle that will keep us strong in Krishna consciousness is chanting our 16 rounds, following the 4 regular principles, coming to morning and evening classes, rising early and cleaning ourselves and going to Mangalarti and living with the character of a devotee. Otherwise, whatever position we're in, however high it may be, we will likely fall down if we don't take this seriously. If we build a big, big skyscraper of achievements, but our foundation isn't strong, then the inevitable storms of this world is going to make us collapse. And what is that foundation? Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. Chanting the holy name sincerely. And chanting sincerely means to really be chanting with the character of a Vaishnava without making aparads. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say, and he would say this to all the devotees, from the newest to the GBCs and presidents, he said, your problem is you are not afraid enough of Maya. Maya is very powerful. And the more accomplished we become, the more we're her target. We should know that. She's going to try much harder as we seem to be making a bigger influence in the world with Krishna consciousness. So when we know that this is a fact and it is true, it's not maybe, the more we become accomplished and the more we have influence over others to bring Prabhupada's message to the world, the more Maya is going to try to attack us. Subtly, grossly, whatever way works. From her perspective, she knows every weakness we have, and she's going to be after us. But Krishna tells Kaunteya Pratijani that his devotee will never perish. He will protect his devotee. But that means as we're actually taking more responsibility and as we are developing in our Krishna consciousness, in our service, there is a greater and greater need to take shelter of the simple, basic, foundational principles, which are so important.